Hello everyone. Today we will be constructing a Lego 2x4 brick. A PDF of the dimensions should be provided to you upon the completion of this video. We will begin by going to File, New, type in your initials, underscore, 2x4 Lego underscore, and then I'm going to type in demo for demonstration. In order to begin this model, we will start with extrude, and we will click the Z and X plane, and we will construct a rectangle right here and hit the middle button. Now the width of this model is 0.625, and the length of the model is 1.250. And I'm going to clean this model up a little bit by just tucking these dimensions in. There we go. Now we go to refit, and as you can see, the height is incorrect for this model. So let us type in the correct height, which is 0.375. Then we hit OK and refit. This is our starting rectangle. Now go to extrude again, and we're going to click this top plane right up here. Hit that. And then in order to create the studs, we're going to go to circle, or otherwise known as center and point. We will click on the sketch view, and in this corner right here, we're going to make a circle. Now, the diameter of this circle should be 0.190. And we have a little bit of a problem here. So these dimensions that exist right here are connecting to imaginary lines. These lines don't really exist on a 2x4. However, these lines do, because they are the solid edges of the 2x4. But Legos don't really have invisible middle lines, do they? So, in order to fix this, we will start with this dimension here, which instead of measuring to this invisible middle line, we're going to click the center of the circle and click it to this line, and then we're going to click in between. And we're going to change that dimension to 0.15625, then hit enter. Next, we are going to use dimension on this center and click it to here. Middle click in between and type in 0.15625 again. Now that we have our dimension set for the circle, there's only one last thing that we need to do, which is set its height. And we're going to change 0.19 to 0.078. All right, then hit OK. Now, normally what we might do is make these studs all by hand. However, us as engineers, we're a little bit lazy. Instead, what we're going to do is click on Extrude to under the model tree and click this button right here, which is Pattern. Now, we're going to change this pattern type from dimension to direction. Not fill, direction. There we go. And we want these line of studs to go this way. We want them to go along this direction right here. And we need a total of 4 across the length of the 2x4. So we type in 4. Notice how we went from 2 of these little yellow dots to 4 of these. And in order to fix the spacing, or how far apart these studs are going to be from one another, we go to spacing up here and type in 0.313 and hit enter, and the spacing should now be fixed. So you can hit OK. Next thing we're going to do is take these studs and use mirror. And we will actually use the invisible line given to us. We'll go click here because there's not actually any dimensions measuring to it. It's just we're saying we're mirroring one side to another. Now, if we were actually measuring dimensions between the distance of these studs, then we would not use this center line here. We would use this line here. But because there is no actual dimensions with this feature, we're able to do that. All right. So now the next thing we're going to do is shell the model. So shell is right up here. It's right next to round and pattern. We go to shell and we click the bottom of this Lego brick. And our shell's thickness is 0.052. And we're going to OK that. Next, we're going to go to extrude. We're going to click this bottom right here. And we will go to sketch view. Next, click on center and point or circle. And click right about here in between these four studs. And we are going to change the diameter of this circle to 0.250. Now, we have an invisible line right here. It's measuring the center of this circle to the invisible line in the middle, and we can't allow that. So we're going to hit dimension to the center circle here, and then we're going to measure it to this edge right over here. Click enter, and we will go 0.313. Now, in order to set the height for this model, the height of this tube is actually the same height as the rest of the stud. So in order to do that, because we could measure out what we want to actually put in here, but instead, we're going to go to depth, this area up here, hit this arrow to the side, and go all the way down to this bottom one, the one with the cylinder puncturing, but stopping at this little red line at the bottom. Click that, and click this top area, and boom, that saves us the trouble of having to actually type in the dimension. Now we can go to pattern, and we are going to change this from dimension to direction, and we want it to run along this line here. And there are a total of 3 tubes in this model, so we change the number of members to 3, and the spacing is 0.313. We hit OK. Now that we have our tubes in place, the next thing we do is extrude. Click on the center tube here, or the tube to the left-hand side. Center rectangle, and we're going to use our circle right here, place a little circle in the middle, and we will put the dimension to 0.190. Hit OK. And we know that if the height of this tube on the bottom, the bigger tube, was to this little lip, the lip of the brick here, we also know that the height or the depth of this tube is going to be to the bottom of this brick here. So we once again went up here, went to the little last indicator on the depth, and we are going to click here. Hit OK. Now we are going to pattern extrude 4. Go to pattern, change this to direction instead of dimension. There are going to be 3 of these holes, and the spacing is 0.313. When we hit that, boom, we got our model. Or at least we're almost there. So next, go to Extrude. We've got one more thing to do, then we're done. Click that, and go to the drawing view or sketch view. Go to Rectangle, click here in the center, and bring this all the way to the inner edge of the shell. And we're going to change the width to 0.0. Sorry. We're going to change it to 0.031 and hit OK. And we're going to change the height to 0.250. Hit OK. Go to Extrude. Click this little center tube in here. And go to Circle. And bring your circle all the way to the innermost part of the tube. And as you can see, there should be no dimensions you have to do with this. Hit OK. And go to Remove Material and change the depth to the red line. And just click it to the very top of the tube. Hit OK. And this is a completed 2x4 brick. So let us hit save. And make sure you're in your working directory. Hit OK. And there you go. That is how you make a 2x4 brick. I thank you for stopping by and enjoying this video. And I wish you luck on your 3D CAD adventures. Bye.